Alright, we should be live. We're back. We're working on Vivi. Is in case you need a reminder of how he works. And we are at 110 cards. So I found out something yesterday. So one of the main reasons why I've been building Vivi is because I built him for Brawl. I've been having a lot of fun with him. So yesterday I learned that both the talismans for Modern Horizons 2 and the signets from original Ravnica are all on Arena. And I did not realize this because of the way Arena groups colorless artifacts with color identities in them. So both of those were in the gold cards section, and I missed them somehow. And I'm looking for artifact ramp, and I've got Arcane Signet and Cold Steel Heart and Mind Stone, and it's just like, wait, I could have actually, like, somebody played one of them against, like, I haven't even seen anybody play one of them against me. And then somebody did, I'm like, wait, those are on a real, like, somebody played, one of the, signets, and I'm like, those are on Arena, and then last night I'm looking at the shop, and they've got, like, the old, like Arena anthology, like adding cards to Arena without putting them in sets, and and I see that they also have the talismans in one of them. Like I'm looking at it, like, why am I gonna pay this many gems for this? What does it even have in it? And then I saw the talismans, and I'm like, wait, those are. So I went and I fixed Vivi on Arena for Brawl by replacing Cold Steel Heart and Mind Stone with Talisman and Signet. So that way his ramp comes into play untapped in the future. Oh my god. Like, Arena, really? I look for artifacts and you group all of the. I look for colorless spells and you group all of the colorless spells that make colored mana with the colors instead. It's like, I didn't ask for color identity, I asked for colorless cards on Arena. It's like the exact opposite of how Gatherer sorts, where it's like, I'm selecting these colors, but you're going to give me all the stuff that's colorless that has the other colors in it that I'm trying to exclude. Oh my god, Wizards, please. Anyway, that was neat. It is good, though, that the things that I took out or omitted in favor of the ones that I'm currently running in this build for Vivi are now in sync with each other. Alright, so we're at 110 cards. So we need to make 50 cuts. Still. Alright, let's go through the list, see if there's anything that sticks out. We already cut Flame Slash. It could legit be Chain Lightning. Like, I have other removal that deals with creatures of any size. I don't necessarily need another Lightning Bolt at sorcery speed. Yeah, I can see that. And a Drain, Tabernacle, Felwar Stone, Rainstorm, Merchant Scroll still stays, Force of Will, Mystical Tutor. Could still be the Ripple. Let me get some water. Okay. Sapphire Medallion stays. Scroll Rack should probably stay. Time Warp, Whispers. Diamond, Curiosity, Frantic Search. Grim Monolith. Direction, Foil. Could still be Foil. Could be Foff, because Factor Fiction's only guaranteed to get me the best card, maybe another card alongside of it. Unless I really want the second and third best card. Or that I want the best card in the pack, or in the top 5. There's a part of me that's debating, do I just lose Time Stretch? I have Expropriate, and I have 3 other Time Walks. So, do I actually need the 10 mana double turn Time Walk? I do still want it, is the problem. I think we keep it for right now, but I could actually see cutting it just because it's a lot easier to get to the part where I cast a spell or two and then use Vivi's mana to time walk than it is to get to the point where I time stretch plus have extra mana open to protect it from especially spell stealing abilities. Like the last thing I ever want is for somebody to commandeer or Aether Snatch a time stretch. Spelljack. Um Heru Spells Thief. Although that one's kind of hard to stop. That one's unmorphing to steal the spell. That one I kind of have to disallow if I'm going to stop it. Or at least be able to counterspell the time walk, the time stretch when they cast it later on. It could be Deep Analysis. The original burst of cards from Deep Analysis, 4 mana for 2 cards is kind of weak. And I don't have a ton of ways to get it into my graveyard to flash it back. For just 2 mana and 3 life. At 2 mana and 3 life, if that were just the spell, if it were blue and 1 as additional cost to cast, lose 3 life, or pay 3 life, and draw 2 cards, I would probably run that. Like, if I had ways to play extra lands, I'd be running, Gush, so... Like, that's the only reason I'm not running Gush, is because I have to bounce 2 of my lands, and I don't have ways to play extra lands. And Vivi can't make mana on opponent's turns, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. He definitely should not be able to do that one. I think he's way too strong as is. So Signet, Commandeer. I could see losing my Commandeer. Commandeer and Foil are really rough on the hand to cast, so at least Foil is still kind of castable at 4 mana. At 7 mana, Commandeer is just absurdly brutal. Try and hard cast. Let's see, we have Force of Will, Force of Negation, the 2 Ikoria. If I have my commander, they're free. And Misdirection. There's all the free counter spells I have. Pact of Negation. Okay, so we're up to 6. Are there any others? Because I think at that point it's Commandeer. So Commandeer and Foil are 7 and 8. Which means almost a tenth of the deck is counter spells I can technically cast for no mana. Or ways to protect Vivi for no mana. More accurately. Yeah, I think Commandeer can go. I need to make cuts, and Commandeer is both very difficult on the hand. Like, I have to have 2 blue spells that I can just pitch that, aren't helping Vivi and don't protect him with the mana I have available. And, yeah, there will be times where I wish, like, some other random card in my hand was Commandeer just so I had it, but I don't know what the last card on the list is going to be that could have been Commandeer instead if I have just left it on the whole time, but do we lose Mindbreak Trap because it's better against what we're playing against than it is for helping us with our own thing? Possibly. I would rather have Disallow than Mindbreak Trap for the more problematic things that I need to interact with, but Mindbreak Trap definitely has a lot of potential against a lot of different things. Alright, I don't have room. This is one of those ones where it depends on your metagame. Like, if there's enough stuff going on, you might need to swap Mindbreak Trap for, like, Disallow or something. But I prefer to default to Disallow over it, so. Time Walks and Card Draw spells are what I want to cast ahead of Cast Through, or, once Cast Through Time is in play. Do I actually need it? Like, it's very cool. It's very cool, especially if you cast a Time Walk effect with it out, and then Vivi gets to get counters, and then you take your extra turn, you cast Time Walk again, and Vivi gets another counter, and now he's making all of this mana, and it's possible to just keep chaining things together. It makes chaining things together a lot easier when you get a free copy. But that's probably true of Arcane Bombardment also, and I also don't know if that one makes it all the way through the end. Because this is a 6 mana do or 7 mana do nothing enchantment. The turn that I cast it. And that makes me hesitant. This is definitely the most cast through time deck I have ever built. So the fact that I'm still seriously considering not playing it. Cast through time is one of those cards that I always look at. I'm like, I've got a deck with a ton of spells in it. Surely this will be the time that I cast through time. And it never is. Like, we even have Vivi. Like, if Vivi adds, like, 4 to 5 mana, and I only have to spend, like, 2 to 3 casting it, then I can still actually have mana up and have interaction. But that still means I got Vivi to that point anyway, and nothing's happened to him, so I kind of just want to keep chaining other stuff together. Like, taking another turn off to try and set up more with cast through time seems a little bit rough. Like, ideally, I would play cast through time and actually cast a time walk in the same turn for, 11 mana, 12 mana, 12 mana. Like the cheaper time walks. Yeah, if I'm being completely honest, cast through time is a win more card more often than it's going to be the reason that I win, I feel like. Which makes me really sad, because this thing is incredibly powerful once it's in play in this deck. I hate doing that. I'm gonna let it stay on the list for a little while longer. It probably is going to need to go. Like, it and or Arcane Bombardment are probably both going to need to go, but they're so strong when they're working that I don't want to. Griff definitely stays. Rapid Hybrid stays. Swan Song. Baneful. Shift. All Disallow. Mox Amber. Burton Vent. Could be Bonds of Insight. Like, it's fine. I keep coming back to I need to have actually hit the spells that I want back with a card like Bond of Insight, whereas if I just keep drawing more cards, eventually I will find the other redundant copies of whatever it is, because I usually will have redundant copies of any instant or sorcery in this deck. Yeah, okay, I can see get rid of Bond of Insight. Interest Plan, Finale, Learn Great Creator, Narset, Founding Conundrum can stay. I really want it to stay. It could be Burgie. I don't actually use Burgie in Brawl. Still very powerful though. Like the extra mana really helps. Like if Burgie added colorless, I would still be considering Burgie. So the fact that she actually adds one of my two colors, even if red is the much less important one to constantly chain things together. I have lost a bunch of the full-on Storm cards from Vivi, but that doesn't mean I can't kind of storm off with him. Like, Vivi could definitely be a Thousand-Year Storm deck if I actually wanted to put it in here, but I think the other, like, Cast Through Time and Arcane Bombardment are just better overall. I can see losing Burgie. Honestly, I can see losing Solve the Equation at 5 mana to tutor. If it was 2 mana to tutor an instant or sorcery, like Merchant Scroll, well, Merchant Scroll can only get blue instants, but still. The fact that Merchant Scroll is only 2 mana and can go get most of the things that I need versus 3 mana for the Solve the Equation. I'm just looking at stuff that I'm not actually running in VV that I have, like for VV Brawl, that I actually have not reason, the opportunity to run. And I'm trying to think of the reasons why in Commander I need them more than I did in Brawl. And they're still only okay. So yeah, maybe Burgie does go at that point. Solve can stay for now, but I think Solve's gonna eventually go. I could legit lose Jingataxis. I actually took him out of VV Brawl, and Brawl Jingataxis is a lot stronger. Like, yes, he still gets to copy my spells, and that's still pretty potent, but he only gets to counter the first spell played by one of my opponents from instant sorceries and artifacts, so if one player has a throwaway spell, the others can then take care of Jin and or Vivi. Yeah, I can see losing because of that. Bye, Jin. Offer, Arcane Bombardment. Out the back. Six cards over here. Want Shore Up. Absolutely want Duplimancy. Every time I've ever cast Duplimancy with Vivi out with a way to protect him, or like Duplimancy and then cast Vivi with a way to protect him, it's always been so much harder to lose. Because then they basically need a Wrath to stop Vivi. Card removal no longer functions. Not only does it not function, but it also gives me another Vivi just in case something happens to one of them after that. Could be Axonal, but I do really like Axonal for Commander, where the life totals are much higher. Like, I don't think, like, this is a good example of, like, Brawl VV does not need Axonal. Brawl VV will kill the opponents quickly enough, but Commander VV needs to deal 15 extra points of damage to win the game, and definitely needs to kill at least one more opponent, unless I'm playing heads up. So, gonna need all that extra damage. Could be artist talent, but I do think I like that one in Commander because the games are gonna go longer and the extra damage, the making my spells cost less, and getting the rummage effect if I start to flood out are all super helpful abilities to have. Those temporal manipulation. Sure. Fire emancipation. Fiery could potentially go, but triple damage again, just to close out games because they're going to take so much longer normally. The Archmage of the Runes. Nation. Activity. Prodigy. It's possible the Harmonic Prodigy can go. Like, I have the damage, like the additive damage effects. I don't necessarily need something that makes VV. It only copies his triggers and like brawls, I think, for countering a spell. Would let me loot twice. Like Jingataxis wasn't a wizard to begin with, and copying his trigger doesn't normally matter. Anyway, yeah, I can see cutting Harmonic Prodigy. It does double up the counters. Like it's more that doubles up the counters to get VV more power faster. So I can cast bigger spells. I think than the damage, copying the damage trigger aspect of VV. I know they're the same trigger, but you know what I mean. Like the damage is less important at that point than the extra counters. So that way I can cast bigger spells. That's true. We also have the Planisphere, which makes the creature a wizard. So, all right, we'll let him stay for right now, but getting pretty close to being on the chopping block. So what do we have? 8, I think. We had 6. 2, 3. Elite brainstorm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, yeah, okay, only 6. Alright, brings us down to 104. Yeah, with 44 cuts still to go, gonna be a bunch of things that need to go. Alright. Let's double check our counterspell count, see what it looks like. See if I have any wiggle room to get 1 or 2 of them out of here. I also take misdirecting effects and such, since they are primarily in here to make the spell not resolve the way the opponent intended. Nothing between... Nope, does not look like it. Okay. Foil. Stretch, deep analysis, future sight, O-stone, top. Signet, I think twice. Pact of negation, yes. Oops. Ooh, excuse me, don't need the top and bottom space around it. Ponder, Savor, Opal, Image. None of these are counter spells. Swan Song is, though. Baneful Stroke. Like, maybe I don't need Disdainful Stroke with everything else I have. On Arena, it's a little more important to have a counterspell that, you know, is cheap and interacts with a lot of different things, so... I do still like having Disdainful Stroke, but maybe it's too weak here in comparison, because I have access to a few more things. And also, some of the spells that would be weaker on Arena get a little bit better. Like Swan Song and Offer You Can't Refuse. I saw it coming. Offer. Yeah, just thinking about stuff and try and make sure I don't miss any of the counter spells on the way down. Force of Negation. It's 2. Alright. Force of Will. Misdirection. Will. Pact. Swan Song. Disdainful. Disallow. Not coming. Offer. Force of Negation. Guardianship and Deflecting Swat. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, I can probably lose Disdainful Stroke. It's fine, but it's not necessary. What does that leave us with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I probably have to lose foil also. Let's get rid of those two. It's down to 102. So 2 more cuts, and at least we'll have made 10 cuts today. Pretty sure we can do that. Alright, next redundant thing that we look at, the number of ways we have to protect Vivi from things, like specifically from opponents' interaction with him. So, reality ripple. I know there aren't a ton, but I think we can cut like one more of them, and I need to figure out which one it is. Grim Monolith, Misdirection, Ristic Study, Factor Fiction, Analysis, Future Sight, Sensei's Top, Signet, Saver, Eel Umbra, Opal Image, Gataxian Probe, Sonic, Rapid Hybrid, Swan Song. I didn't miss anything, right? I'm saying all these names that just occurred to me that I'm also thinking about other stuff, and did I actually say the name of anything that I needed to grab for this list? And the answer was no, but it helps to double check at that point. Brawl, no. Mox, Invert and Vent. None of those. Embercleave, no. Conundrum, no. Saw It Coming, Solve. Consider, Deluge, Anger, no. Hullbreaker, no. Swirling Mist, yes. Arcane, slip out the back. Door up. Environmental Augury, Flame, no. Sonal, Proft, Plan, Talent, Stock Up, Regent, Ugin, Planisphere, no. Dreams, no. Time Walks, Tiffany, no. Expropriate, no. Force of Negation, Talisman, no. I mean, Helm is in here to protect Vivi, but that's proactive. I need the reactive ones, I think, to figure out what those all look like. Ripples. I missed the Final Fantasy one. I missed Magic Damper somewhere. No, I did. Oh, I actually don't have Magic Damper on here. Huh. That's kind of surprising, because I do run it in Vivi Brawl, but I'm running all of the 1-mana ways to protect Vivi in Brawl. For the obvious reasons that I don't want him to die there, and I need the cheapest things possible so I can run him out as soon as I can and still protect him. Huh. That is actually throwing me a tiny bit now. Excuse me. Yeah, this is all the ones I have on the list. Huh, so maybe I don't have as many as I thought, and I don't have one I can spare anymore. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, that's only a tenth of the spells, not even of the deck. I'm very surprised I had Dive Down but not Magic Damper on the list. And I forget what the logic behind not putting Magic Damper on the list was at the time. Alright. I don't think I can cut any of them now. I thought I had more on the list that I could potentially cut, but not seem to be the case. Yeah, I think if I can lose another card draw spell, it's probably going to wind up being Deep Analysis. Uh, one. Is there another card draw spell I can cut and not be running too low on potential card draw? I really wanted Frantic Search for the untapping of the lands because it gives me a lot more to work with once I've burned through a lot of my mana, but it's only filtering, not actual card draw. Hmm. Really like Frantic Search in the deck, but I don't think I can give up any of the ones that put additional cards in my hand without making me discard the same number. But man, do I really love that tap three lands portion. Frantic Search, like so much extra mana and the ability to protect Vivi on opponents' turns while still making as much use of my mana as possible. Man, this hurts. Like, there's a part of me that would rather cut Rhystic Study than Frantic Search just because Frantic Search puts two new cards in my hand immediately. Whereas Rhystic Study, I need the opponents to, get choked on mana a little bit in order to get any extra cards out of it. The fact that they're sitting right there next to each other is just like, are you sure you want to cut Frantic Search out of these two? I think I might need to, though. We already cut Deep Analysis, so cut the Frantic Search and get down to 100 cards. Remember to clear off the thing this time. Alright, let's go to the bottom of the actual list and start working our way back up again. I actually need Conqueror's Flail. I don't need it, but I do really want it. Knowing that I can cast a lot of the big bomby, like, 8+ mana spells, and I don't have to worry that they're not going to resolve for the most part. Like, there's only a tiny handful of things that can interact at that point. Just makes me feel a lot better if I have that in play and attached to Vivi. Plus, it's giving him extra power. Champion's Helm. Mnemonic Deluge at 9 mana. Copies one thing 3 times. Versus Finale at 12 mana. I guess the 3 mana difference is enough to make me want Mnemonic Deluge at that point still. Also, it's really crazy if I hit Mnemonic Deluge as one of the cards with Finale. Just for good measure. Just in case I was not casting enough spells that turn or that sequence. I think I do still want Amphibian Downpour. Just as a way to neuter a couple of creatures with some amount of consistency. Like, I think if I cut Amphibian Downpour, I need to re-add, what's its name? Curse of Swine. Because I think I still need the effect, I just don't need one or the other. Could still be Prodigy. It's a fine card in the deck, but it's not essential. Don't want to get rid of Harmonic Prodigy. I don't really want to at this point, but should I get rid of Harmonic Prodigy? I have better damage multipliers and other ways to get counters on Vivi. This is one of the few ways I have to do a little of both, though. Also, this one does work with the other damage multipliers and additives the way you want to, because it's creating an entire separate instance of Vivi's trigger, so that one is getting all the bonuses. So, like, for example, with Axonal out, I would deal 8 damage by casting a non-creature spell. I think I keep it for right now. Still, we need to get down to like the 80 cards before I seriously start cutting some of these things. Unfortunately, we might have to seriously start cutting them to get us to 80 cards at this rate. What I'm worried about. One of the things I could consider doing is a lot of the 1 mana card draw spells that aren't letting me see like 3 entire cards might be able to go, just because I don't actually run any of them in Vivi. Like, he does not have Opt or Consider or Brainstorm or Ponder or like any of those cards. Like, yes, cheap spells free roll with him and let me look at more cards, but it's usually just as good to cast some of the bigger spells and just draw a bunch of cards and get a counter or two onto him, and then let those chain together. So it might be that I can actually get rid of some of the cheaper card draw spells. We need the big ones, is the thing. Like, Vivi needs to be able to play one spell and get multiple cards into hand per spell. Which, between that and the fetch lands, is why cards like Brainstorm and Ponder are still fine. Because it's giving me a much larger card selection to try and keep chaining things together. It's possible, though, like, some of them can go just because I don't need them in Brawl VV. I probably don't need them in Commander VV either. And I do need cuts, so... I need a lot of cuts. I need so many cuts. Still kind of want Axonal. Still be Arcane Bombardment. Or Ancestral Finger. Deluge. Like, I could theoretically lose cards like Consider. Let me look at my card draw spells for again. Actually, seriously thinking about this. Alright, so the ones that should definitely stay in the 1 mana slot. Brainstorm should, Whisper should, Curiosity, yes. Ponder, probably. Twisted Image, definitely. Probe, almost definitely. Consider can go. Preordain could go. Ancestral Anger should stay. Yeah, I think Consider and Preordain can go, being honest. Possibly Ponder also. It brings us down to 98. We're almost at the 50-minute mark, and I am slowing down again, so... Yeah, I think I'm comfortable calling it here for right now, so... We might have VV done this week, and then we can decide. I'm probably not going to do an Edge of Eternity's Commander, if I'm being honest. There will be, when they do the Brawl deck builder, I do have a Captain Sammy deck that will show off and give a try too, but I don't think I'm building an actual commander from Edge of Eternities at this point. I'm pretty sure I will find something out of all of the different arachnid themed people to build a Spider-Man deck, but I don't know that we're ever going to do an Edge of Eternities commander proper. Honestly, it would have been Captain Sammy or the lobster, the Food Matters lobster, if I had to pick one of them, because those were the only two that even kind of made me want to build a deck. But yeah, I think we call it there for right now, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.